Next up, we have Axon. Why don't you come on up?
Hi everyone, my name is George and I'll be presenting to you Axon, which is the world's first liquid fiat crypto protocol. Before I begin, I'll tell you a little bit about the team that is building it. As a founder, I come from two strong backgrounds. The first one is technical and also is combined with business experience. I'm not doing this alone, so I am part of a team of 15 professionals who also have been part of reputable companies. But let's talk about the market opportunity. If you look at the volume that has been transferred between fiat and crypto in 2022, it has been around 3 trillion. And practically all this volume went through centralized platforms. These platforms in many cases lack the transparency, and they also operate in environments of high conflict of interest. And this leads to moral hazard and articles like this one. Imagine you were an employee in one of those companies before the collapses. And imagine you knew you were part of a Ponzi scheme. What would you do? You can reach out to regulators, but they won't do much before the collapse happens. You can email the media, but they're getting paid millions in advertising dollars. So there's not much you can do. So when we were looking at the market in 2021 and 2022, we realized that the way to solve this issue is by building a product which makes all these organizations irrelevant. Why is it hard? Why is it difficult? We call it the trilemma problem. So if you look at the transaction between the fiat and the crypto world, it basically has the following three properties. It can be low cost, it can be fast, and it can be trustless, so without custody risk. Usually, at best, you get 2 out of 3 properties. If we look at centralized institutions, they're fast, they're low cost, but they're definitely not trustless. Few examples what can happen in those situations. First example, lockup periods. This woman purchased crypto on Codebase, and she realized she cannot take it out of the platform for the next 10 to 15 days. So basically, she cannot reach the DeFi protocol. The first comment says, Schrödinger's Bitcoin, there but not there. It's kind of funny, but it's true. And then it becomes less funny when you realize that these platforms can hold your crypto up to a couple of months. It can be bought for legitimate reasons as well as illegitimate reasons. And then it gets really dark. What is the alternative? You can go to on and off-ramp solutions like MoonPay, Transact, Wire. They're fast. They're kind of trustless, not really a reality, but people perceive them that way, so let's say they are. But the fees, oh my God, the fees, they're 3, 4, 5%. It's kind of like a highway robbery. The reality is that these platforms need to charge those fees because that's the way they also offset the losses due to fraud, compliance, and AML. And of course, you can always go to P2P platforms, which are low cost, kind of trustless, but the experience of purchasing or selling crypto is not great, especially when there is directional market conditions. So for example, everybody's buying or everybody's selling. So in those situations, you might need to wait a week or more for the transaction to settle. And also banks really don't like those platforms. They tend to block the accounts quite a lot if you operate with one of those and move high volumes. And that's the status quo. This is the current state of the market. And it's crazy. We are so used to it that we don't even think it can be any different. Enter the Axon protocol. It's the first to offer fast, low-cost, and fully non-custodial transaction settlements. So people no longer need to choose between the lesser evils. What are our flagship products? I'll go through the protocol first. It's a little bit technical. Go a little bit faster. Brace yourselves, but happy to talk after the pitch. So we'll start with secure transaction space. It basically merges the DeFi and traditional finance into one. We have fully deep liquidity and fully gasless experience. On top of it, we have built what we call incorruptible computing network, which basically connects to over 14,000 financial institutions. And it's basically building an incorruptible end-to-end encrypted communication channel between TradFi and DeFi. We make this further more secure through the security-preserving blockchain, which is powered by the Avalanche subnets, which is running also a proprietary consensus algorithm and is a validator-based decentralized security model. So we can really scale the security quite a lot. having all those components in place, we can build first-of-kind non-custodial flow of funds, both through buying and selling of crypto. Think about it as a decentralized clearinghouse. So basically, we are able to clear the risk out of each transaction without holding custody over the funds. That is what allows us to go as low as 0.2% in fees. Think about the money we can save. On top of it, we have the mobile experience, which we call Axon 360. Users are able to trade, lend, borrow, both fiat and crypto with zero custody risk. So think about it like Coinbase with no custody risk. And it makes the whole process quite easy. Instead of going through multiple steps and waiting multiple days to get to the DeFi world and vice versa, it takes just a few clicks. We call it the magical experience. It's simple as that. So it's our business model. The business model just takes a commission. We just take a commission on each transaction. That's it. In terms of achievements in the past few months, I'll give you just the highlights. So we first have cleared, have regulatory clearance to operate in EU and US. Second, we have filed 2 patents. And third, we have 2,000 people waiting for us to give us the service. And if you think about all the millions of users that currently have no choice, well, now they do. Welcome to Axon.
So I understand that, all of this is done in a non-custodial fashion, but would be helpful to get a sense of how you think about KYC, AML, and particularly on the fiat on and off ramp, who are you potentially partnering with to address that?
That's a great question. So while we are building a service that is non-custodial, it's fully compliant. So basically, the way the flow of funds happens is we have companies, which in the beginning obviously is going to be us, that initiate the fiat payment. There's a lot of things happening on the protocol side by the time a fiat payment is initiated. But every company that is able to initiate fiat payments needs to follow the KYC procedures. So they need to do KYC, AML, and stuff like that. So those companies are obviously doing the first check of users before they transact. We're currently integrated with Sum and Substance, which you will probably know is one of the leading players in the industry. We have also all the other things in place. We can monitor up to 1,000 indicators for fraud. So it's quite an advanced solution that even already we have in place there. And not sure if it answered your question, but happy to tell you more if needed.
Who are the first types of users that you think would migrate over to Axon?
That's a great question. We plan to target initially a very well-defined segment of DeFi users. These are people who are a little bit on the maximalist side, people who don't like the centralized risk that they currently need to take because otherwise they need to pay crazy fees. This is a segment that, in our estimation, obviously I can even walk you through one of these slides, but we estimate to have around 600 in terms of volume generated between DeFi and 600 billion in terms of volume between DeFi and CeFi right now. We plan to address this market in the beginning. These people don't like the current state of affairs, but they have no choice. They need to go through the existing status quo solutions. And that's it. That's the initial market that we are aiming for.
How are you planning to bootstrap getting into that market to create market penetration?
That's also a great question. So it comes in multiple stages. We start with the B2C offering. We obviously ship a B2B offering, both are running very different strategies. For the B2B offering, we have found that we are quite synergetic. So we integrate with all the DeFi protocols like 1inch. We integrate with protocols like Banky, with Aave, and so on. So for example, imagine Aave. They don't allow you to get fiat loan. You cannot do it, but with us you can. So you put your collateral in Aave, and basically through us you can get a USDC loan that is automatically converted in fiat without custody risk. We are so synergetic, and we do plan to leverage this because we do believe that there's great synergies we can do with our protocols, and we're doing cross-marketing and so on. Obviously, we can also do the regular type of go-to-market where you have DeFi strategies, traditional strategies. So I can definitely spend time on that, but maybe after the talk. And by the way, sorry, there are also so many people that got burnt from using solutions like Celsius, for example. Those people, I think, are ripe for targeting.
Great. Thanks, George.